So this is the first video in a series of videos for my new YouTube channel called One of None. My name is Jeremy Dominic and I enjoy building custom one-off vehicles as a hobby. I've done it for years. I built some really creative and different vehicles. I'm a firm believer that a classic or a custom vehicle needs to be drivable. And I love taking old iron and adding somewhat modern drivetrains or doing just completely off-the-wall stuff. I built a couple of cool cars. Recently sold off quite a few of the vehicles that I had built in order to build our home and build my new shop. And so I built a 46 Chevrolet fire truck that was slammed on air ride and shrunk down onto a custom S10 frame. I built a 51 Ford F5 that was on a Lincoln Mark IV chassis on air ride. 47 Buick Super on air ride. I've done just a bunch of creative different projects over the years. And I decided that it would be fun to do something new into the new house, into the new shop. And I got inspired by a video I saw online. Actually, I got inspired by a whole bunch of different videos, but I got inspired by a video online, and I'm gonna share these pictures as we're talking. So I got inspired by the new Bronco that's out from Ford. And I was like, man, that is really cool. And I always loved vintage Broncos. And I was like, well, maybe the next project I do will be a vintage Bronco. If any of you have actually gone out and looked at procuring a vintage Bronco, it's stupid money. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's unreasonable. So I scratched that idea. I'm not spending $6 grand on a rusty, crappy Hulk. So the next best option was an International Harvester Scout. And I started scouring Facebook and I stumbled across this wonderful specimen, which actually looks better in the picture than it really is. So the first thing that's going to jump out at you is the fact that, yeah, it's got a little bit of Bondo, but there wasn't a lot that was salvageable on this vehicle. It was inexpensive. It was $800. It didn't have a title, but it had all the paperwork. It had the basic shell of what I wanted to do. And at the time, I wasn't sure what the project was going to be. I really thought I was going to build a four-wheel drive. I already had a 98 short bed four-wheel drive Dodge Ram. And I was going to use that as my primary chassis and base for this project. But dimensionally, it was just too far off. And one thing morphed into another, and I started looking at videos online, and I realized that I'm probably not going to go off-road and go four-wheeling with it, which that would kind of make me a poser if I had some great big lifted truck. And I stumbled across the Cletus McFarland YouTube channel, and then, of course, the Roadkill guys and their Vette hack, and I ended up deciding to go the path less traveled. Really less traveled, like so untraveled, no one's ever done it before. So if you actually do a Google search for Corvette Scout or Harvester Scout Vette or any combination of the Vette Scout, you will find no combination of that. You might find somebody that snagged an engine out of a Corvette and stuck it into a International Scout, but you surely are not going to find somebody that took on the endeavor that I did. So the plan was to take this vehicle and graft it onto a 1984 C4 Corvette. And a quick search on Facebook Marketplace, and I stumbled across this beauty, which a gentleman had invested quite a bit of time, quite a bit of money, and it was the typical story. In fact, I love buying vehicles this way. Oh, you know what? The starter broke, and I decided 8 years ago to fix a starter in it. And then when I had the starter off, I realized the valve cover was leaking. I should probably fix that. And one thing snowballed into another, and he disassembled the whole car and repainted everything and powder coated and did all new suspension, and then decided to pull the engine and build the engine. And then while the engine was out, do the trans. And then while the trans was out, do the rear end. And then while everything was out, do all the brakes. And what I ended up buying was a completely refurbished chassis in its beautiful orange and purple. And he had done some kind of cool stuff, and he had also done some really weird stuff, like you can see all the powder coating and the paint work. But he got a little wild in the rear end and decided he was going to make it look like a Lamborghini. This is a wood, by the way, it's plywood. And you can see the custom fiberglass job that's on there. A lot of time and energy put into this, but I mean, I talk about reliving the 80s. And so this quickly was removed with a sledgehammer. And this is what I ended up with, which is the complete tub of the Corvette. The rear gas tank is off. I end up stripping a whole lot more off the vehicle. And the goal is to walk you through. I've got several videos of in the garage and what's going on and how I went about it. This video is just going to start to kind of walk us through the different steps. The windshield's been removed. We've got the Scout here, sectioning the Scout and getting the main cab portion off. I decided I was going to take the Scout, chop it in half, and build in either direction. So I'm going to let the video start here, and then I'll continue to go through, and we'll do another video as the as additional components the vehicle can kind of put together. And we do a quick walkthrough of everything that was on the vehicle. So stop sharing here, and I hope you like the channel. Watch the videos, and hopefully this inspires you to go out and do something really crazy.